Hello, world. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is so great to be with all of you today. It is Tuesday, November 4th, and we have a big show for you. Lots of videos to take a look at. You see the headline today, ICE Brutality sweeping across Illinois, Evanston, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. Unbelievable video that we're going to take a look at in just a few moments here on the Shannon Joy Show, sparking new outrage. ICE out of control. We're also going to look at a few other stories you can see in the top headline news in the show notes for the Shannon Joy Show today. There's a lot happening in terms of the expansion of the digital control grid. Great piece from Catherine Austin Fitz, comprehensive, that was featured on the Solari report, and it is actually being made public to everyone. I retweeted it today, linked it in the show notes of today's show. The Trump administration and the tech bros, the PayPal mafia, his handlers are rapidly expanding the digital surveillance and police state. And there is a comprehensive report now pushed out by Catherine Austin Fitz over at Solari that everyone needs to get their hands on. You need to read it and share it with your friends and family. The calls are coming from inside of the House. This is why I critique Donald Trump and the Republicans on a regular basis. They are expanding and pushing this digital control grid much faster than the Biden administration ever did in his 4 years of office. And so once again, we're in a situation where, meet the new boss, same as the old boss, only this guy is worse. So we're going to go into that a little bit later today on the Shannon Joy Show as well. Of course, we are broadcasting live. We're right here on Rumble, live on Twitter, Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV. So glad to be platformed on the Died Suddenly account. And a huge thank you to the producers over at Died Suddenly who are producing the Shannon Joy Show today. Major props to TJ, who is making everything happen behind the scenes. He's doing an absolutely fantastic job. I see all of you on the live chat. C-Wave number 7, the very first chatter today here on Rumble with the Hawaii Free Press, hawaiifreepress.com. I love local free press organization. So welcome, Seaway 7. Aloha. Glad that you're here on the live chat. We have Mark the Regan with us as well. Brandon Bennett joins us today. Buskman is with us on the live chat. Let's see what's up Shannon's sleeve today. Got a feeling that it's going to make somebody angry. It always does. Well, I am contrarian by nature. And as you all know, independent. Every day, the Shannon Joy Show analyzing the news from an independent perspective, not left, not right, not Democrat, not Republicans, because, well, I think they're all criminals. And I think they are playing us. The uniparty is firmly ensconced in Washington, D.C., and that's why nothing ever seems to change. It just gets worse and worse for the little guys. So that corruption is at the source of so many of the problems that we face in the U.S. today. So many of the problems that we face are so simply and easily solved, but we can't have nice things because we are locked in this death spiral of choosing a lesser of two evils. You've heard me say before, it's like choosing between Satan and Lucifer every election cycle. And yes, today is election day. It is November 4th. And the big question is, should I even go out and vote today? Right? Like, I get it. We're conservatives. We love the Constitution. The U.S. is a democracy. I know. I've heard it. It's my civic duty. It's the least that you can do. Get out and vote. I've heard it all. I've been a dutiful voter my entire life. First 30 years of my life, I dutifully voted for Republicans because I bought into the propaganda of the right and believed that, well, there were good guys and bad guys, and the good guys were the R's and the bad guys were the D's. And, I fell into that trap for quite some time. Started my show analyzed the news for 2 years in the political cycles and realized it was all a scam. And yeah, that was like 12 years ago. So now I am firmly black pilled, but as you all know, also white pilled. Because in order to have nice things and in order to secure authentic, genuine liberty for our children, in order to protect our founding documents and our Constitution and this system of government, though it has been severely corrupted, one of the best systems if it's actually utilized and put in place. We can do that, but the only way to get to the white pill is to accept the fact that this system is rigged. And the question, help me out. I would love to hear from all of you. Are you voting today in local and statewide elections? Now, I would say this. I would be more likely to vote in local and state elections because they are closer to the people than I would in national elections. And I am seriously considering completely boycotting the next presidential election because that's how rigged I think it is. But the question is, why would I participate, or why would we participate in what we know to be a completely fraudulent pageant of absolute absurdity, which is likely rigged, right? And even if it's rigged in our favor, say you are still a D or an R and you buy into the trope of the two-party system and democracy in America, right? Even if your guy wins, right? So say the election is rigged in your favor this time, and you get the big V for the candidate or the party that you have selected, right? Even when you get your guy in, nothing changes. Government still grows, corruption still increases. We have profligate spending, debt spending, a shredding of our Constitution on a regular basis, and it's like nothing ever changes, right? We get to choose the fascism of the right or the communism of the left. Everyone's asking me about Mamdani in New York City. And apparently he's a leftist communist. We've seen this before. And everyone on the right is freaking out, but they have no problem with the fascist in the White House, right? Donald Trump expanding the power of the executive branch of the government, full-scale shutdown. So our legislative branch isn't even functioning. We still haven't gotten the Epstein files. Doesn't matter which president is in office. And the entirety of right-wing media wants you to focus on a mayoral election in New York City. Okay, so this guy apparently is a communist. I say let New York City deal with the communists that they elect. I mean, what are we going to do? But it doesn't even matter. If you got a Republican, then you'd get their version of totalitarianism. It doesn't matter whether it's left or right. You still get the isms, whether it's socialism, communism, totalitarianism, collectivism, all of the isms. There's always a Democrat and a Republican brand. They just wrap it in different marketing. So, I mean, that's the big question. Why would I throw my pearls before swine in these elections? Why lend consent to a system that I know to be fraud? Like, it's just fraudulent. And as you guys know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. And in my opinion, in the year 2025 in the United States of America, Americans have lost their damn minds. Because again, we are raging against what is happening to our culture, our society, our economic prosperity, our ability to pursue happiness and to pursue a livelihood. Like all of that is being ripped away from us systematically as they create that digital control grid and crash our economy. The dream of home ownership being erased in a variety of ways with different schemes that the federal government never seems to care about, and we want to get out of this, but we can't if we continue to play this game and pretend it's any different. So, as we launch the show today, let's keep that in perspective. It is election day. Do we have real democracy in the United States of America? Do we have real choices? Or do they force us to make false choices every single election cycle? And at the end of the day, if you choose a lesser of two evils for a long enough period of time, you end up with just plain evil and wickedness and corruption. And it's right in our faces. This is why they're shoving pay to play and the rug pulls and the cronyism in our faces. This is why Donald Trump is having the sit downs with Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and all of these lefties. This is why he's putting in position of power, the heads, the CEOs of major banks not divesting at all. I mean, they're doing this right in front of our faces. And they're telling us that we can do this to you and there's nothing you can do about it. And that will be true if we continue to lend our consent to the fraudulent power structure that they are shoving in front of our faces on a regular basis. And I just don't know if I'm into it. People are going to freak out. They're going to freak out. But you know what? I don't know. So Shannon, is Nick Short America first or Israel first? Just asking. I don't know. I don't know what Nick Short's politics are, because everybody's politics are crazy and there are so many new faces out there. I liked what he wrote yesterday, which is why I read it, but I don't know. Are Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin Mossad? Oh, so you're asking me, this is the title headline. I have a video, Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. I didn't say it, they did. It was this little nugget stuck into the Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson interview that I missed the first time around. And TJ, you want to roll that right now? Like, let's just roll it, because I did head with that in the headline today. Go ahead and roll the tape. I mean, this was just dropped in, just kind of a little random nugget right in the middle of their interview, which was disturbing for a whole host of reasons. But we missed this a couple days ago. Go ahead and roll the tape.
I thought you were a Fed.
I thought you were a Fed.
I was a Fed.
Yeah.
I'm not a Fed. But whatever, I don't care what people think.
We showed each other our badges. We know we're all.
No, but I thought you were a Fed because.
So are they telling us that they're Feds? I mean, I don't know. Are they messing with us? And so that's been making the rounds. I think, a lot of times I think these people, they tell us who they are. They tell us exactly who they are. And is Tucker Carlson a Fed? I don't know. All I know is that he's not credible. For me, he is not a credible he's not number one, a credible source. And number two, I think that he is running propaganda. I believe from the bottom of my heart that he is running some type of propaganda. And that doesn't mean that Tucker Carlson doesn't have good interviews. He's platformed some of the best warriors, people that I feature on my show on a regular basis, Dr. Mary Telly Bowden, Catherine Austin Fitz, Dr. Naomi Wolf. So, that's not to say that he doesn't put out some valuable content, but he drops in these just random, obviously propagandist interviews. Nick Fuentes is being groomed. He is the next he's the next Charlie Kirk. There was a big splashy piece on him in the New York Times, and they made him look like James Dean, like all mysterious. And they're basically saying that Nick Fuentes, who loves Stalin, loves Hitler, doesn't believe that the Holocaust occurred, is a blatant misogynistic pig. And clearly, I mean, he's just a degenerate, a complete degenerate. The videos that we played of Nick Fuentes are abhorrent. And that doesn't mean I like Mark Levin. See, these are the false choices that they set up. Now, Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin don't like Nick Fuentes because of the Israel thing. And so now, by default, they hate Tucker Carlson. So that's the raging battle. I don't like any of them. I think they're all fraudulent, right? And in the fact that Mark Levin, Mr. Constitution, has gotten behind this president who has been shredding the Constitution on a daily basis makes this even more outrageous. So once again, here I am in the middle, and you're all like, pick a side, Shannon. Pick, you have to pick Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro or Nick freaking Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. And I'm here saying, no, I don't want to pick false choices, and you can't bully me into it. In the same way that you can't bully me into participating in an election where I don't like either of the candidates. All right? Shay, you mean Nick Daisy Fuentes. Buskman says, vote logical. If there is someone out there for me to vote for, then I will do it. But at the same time, actually, I don't even know. I seriously might boycott voting next year. So here we have Love Angel C. You literally have Mark Levin, though, threatening to cancel someone and calling people wrong for even being friends with Tucker Carlson and saying that they're going to use their influence to cancel him. Well, I don't like Mark Levin either. Love Angel C. But guess what? Tucker Carlson is an idiot for platforming Nick Fuentes because Nick Fuentes is an absolute degenerate. And if y'all make me have to pull up videos of Nick Fuentes and run them on a cycle, on a loop for you for the next hour, I'll do it. The guy is insane. He's probably a Fed. He's likely working for some type of intelligence agency in order to completely delegitimize any real criticism of Israel, right? Which I have engaged in. I am highly critical of Israel and what they're doing in Gaza. I'm highly critical of Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't think that the American people should be should be footing the bill for Israel to wage war across the Middle East in the same way that we shouldn't be footing the bill for Ukraine to engage in war in their region as well. Like, I'm against all of it, right? But now, in order to be against Israel, you have to line up and side with the likes of Nick Fuentes. Not doing it. It's just not happening, period. Well, Brandon Bennett, Mark Levin isn't Mr. Constitution. He's Mr. Constitutional Convention. I don't trust that for a second. If you see anyone advocating for Mark Levin's Article 5 Convention of States, run for the hills. I don't trust that movement in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. Anyway, Fox Die Zero, they are both probably CIA. Exactly. Thank you. I think they probably are. We need to get Shannon out of the Matrix. I feel like I am out of the Matrix. Like, I don't know how you could be more black-pilled than I am. Unless you go down. Yeah, right. Listen, you guys, you drag me down this rabbit hole and I am going to compile a full hour of the most insane, decrepit, disgusting, horrifying, ridiculous, inane, and ignorant statements of Nick Fuentes, and I'm going to run it on a loop. And that's what you guys can watch all day. So yeah. Oh, we had a question here. Shannon, does Shannon like Ron DeSantis? Yes, I do. I do like Ron DeSantis. There are certain pieces of legislation that I don't like and certain things that he engages in that I'm not a fan of. I really actually dislike it when he tries to play the political game and kiss Donald Trump's butt and like straddle that line. It's like nails on chalkboard for me. But the Sunshine State in many areas, particularly medical freedom, is a beacon for the entire world. And also in currencies, making gold and silver legal tender, and the beginning of creating a state sovereign bank in the state of Florida to compete against the fiat currencies and prepare this nation for the economic problems that I think we're going to see in the next 6 to 8 months, and potentially a dollar collapse. Like, he's doing very important things in the state of Florida, in addition to tax reform, working to remove property taxes for every Floridian. That's really going to help protect homeowners against the fraudulent accelerated value of housing. So what we talked about with Blackstone and corporations, really artificially driving up the price of housing and by default making it so that people can't afford their taxes. They are beginning to do things in Florida that are really important. So yes, I do like Ron DeSantis. I don't like everything about Ron DeSantis. But if I lived in the state of Florida and there was an election, I would go and vote for Ron DeSantis. Yes, Kelly McCarty, thank you. Nick Fuentes is a low-life reprobate, 100%. And I agree with you, Kelly. Great to see you as well. Strident conservative David Leach is with us today. Love David Leach. If you are not following the stridentconservative.com, really great insight and reporting on that website. He's been absolutely consistent. The only Mr. Constitution I found is John Whitehead of the Rutherford Institute, and I feature him regularly on my website. He's fantastic. Thank you, David Leach. I always appreciate you. So that's the question of the day. If you'd like to pop your answer into the live chat right here on Rumble, go for it. Are you going to participate in fraudulent elections? Do we even really have a democracy? One of our great friends, Doc Malik, had some great insight on that. We're going to get to him in just a second. But first, I do want to give a shout out to our friends over at Perfect Sleep Max from Perfect Origins. We're so thankful for Rumble and the platform that they give us here at the Shannon Joy Show. And Rumble advertisers have become a major part of the growth of the Shannon Joy Show. Perfect Sleep Max is one of those products that I just absolutely love. It combines those two powerhouse supplements, melatonin and magnesium, for the perfect night's sleep. Not only will you fall asleep fast, you will stay asleep. You will also wake up absolutely refreshed, no grogginess whatsoever. And that has been something with some of the other sleep aids that I have used in the past. Occasionally, you will have situations where you wake up and you're super groggy and you just don't feel sharp. That never, ever happens with Perfect Sleep Max from Perfect Origins. And this product, it is absolutely amazing. They have L-theanine, GABA, DOPA. They have 5-HTP to promote dopamine and serotonin. They also, of course, have melatonin and magnesium, which will help to aid your sleep cycle and relax the muscles in the nervous system, and along with other really amazing products. Clean, non-GMO, no GMOs whatsoever, and they have it on special right now. You can get the perfect night's sleep for free with Perfect Sleep Max. That's right. They have a special offer for the Shannon Joy Show audience. They are giving away bottles of Perfect Origins Perfect Sleep Max because they know it works so well. If you try it, you'll love it and you'll become a customer for life. So all you have to do is click on the link in the description to enter. It is perfectorigins.com/SJS-PSM. TJ is going to pop that link up in the live chat right now and on the comments. Click on that link. You can get a free bottle. You can apply to get a free bottle of Perfect Sleep Max. And all you have to do is click on that link. They are also giving away 25% in discounts. So if you use the promo code JOY, if you've already gotten your free bottle and you use the promo code JOY, you will get an additional 25% off your order. But you got to go today. This is a limited time offer. So thank you to our friends over at Perfect Sleep Max. Don't let the news cycle keep you up at night. People ask me all the time, Shannon, how do you sleep at night with all of the craziness in the news cycle on a daily basis? And my answer is Perfect Sleep Max from Perfect Origin. So thank you to that amazing, amazing company. So yes, question is, in terms of democracy, our good friend Doc Malik, who will be joining us in the next couple weeks. Oh, by the way, Daniel Horowitz is going to be with us this week on the Shannon Joy Show, either Thursday or Friday. Not sure which day it is, but he is booked for this week. It is long overdue. I need to have a session with our great friend, RM Conservative on Twitter, and Daniel Horowitz, one of the most consistent voices out there. He is phenomenal. We have a lot to talk about. So that's coming up this week. Also tomorrow, parent advocate and medical freedom advocate Kirsten Cosgrove is going to be with us. Of course, we have Dr. Mary Talley Bowden tomorrow. We have a situation in North Carolina in the Charlotte area of yet another medical kidnap. CPS being called tragically by a St. Jude affiliate hospital in Charlotte, North Carolina. A young child who is undergoing chemotherapy for treatment of cancer. The hospital is apparently questioning the parents and some of the additional supplementation that they are using to mitigate the impact of the chemotherapy. This has now led to threats of calling in Child Protective Services. It's outrageous. This story will absolutely turn your stomach, but there's also a lot to be a lot to be learned about some of the supplements that people are beginning to take that are really helping them, with the chemotherapy. So we are going to look at that tomorrow. Kirsten Cosgrove, an amazing advocate, a fellow over at the McCullough Institute, and she's going to be with the mom. All right, because unfortunately, every 3 months or so on this show, and I think we've probably done a dozen of medical kidnaps, CPS being called when we have to go in and have to try to save someone who is in a hospital situation. We do this regularly on the show, and it's tragic. You won't hear about it on Fox News. You won't hear about it on conservative media. You won't hear about it on mainstream news media or left-wing news. When it has to do with vaccination and alternative use, the parallel medical systems, they just don't cover it. And so we're going to do that tomorrow. We have a lot coming up. But this is what Doc Malik had to say. We're going to get to the unbelievable footage in Illinois. Speaking of totalitarianism, fascism, and the militarization of our police forces, ICE is out of control in Illinois right now. Suburbs of Chicago attacking U.S. citizens, not illegal aliens, brutally beating a U.S. citizen in the course of one of those ICE raids. It was caught on tape. Again, apparently conservatives and constitutionalists and Republicans don't care about the militarization of the police. They don't care about the deployment of the military into our streets. They don't care about operating outside of the boundaries of the Constitution. If it's their guy, Donald Trump, they're going to ignore it. Well, we're not going to ignore it here. And I'm very thankful for the citizen journalists that were on hand to obtain this video, because it's outrageous and it needs to stop. So we're going to be looking at that after we go to a commercial break. But this is what Doc Malik had to say. And I thought this was very interesting insight and appropriate insight from Doc Malik about the pageantry of United States elections and this illusion of democracy. This is what he had to say about that as we move into yet another election day here in the United States of America. Let's go ahead and run that, TJ.
So the one thing they don't want you to know, or for me, people like me, to talk about, is not actually criticizing Israel or calling out Zionism for what it is, or even talking about the Bank of International Settlements, or talking about COVID or vaccines. No, actually, that's kind of legit right now. No, the one thing you cannot talk about is the fact that there is no democracy and that politics is a sham. Voting does not get us out of this shit show, and your vote does not matter. They need you to believe. They need you invested in their system of control. They need you to think that if only you just vote a little bit harder next time, or vote for the correct political party, that next political savior is the answer. That's them keeping you in the game, trapped. And they're terrified that all of us will realize that this is all just bullshit, and that we won't vote and participate, and that we'll ignore them, and that's when everything will collapse. So the one thing you cannot talk about, where I won't get invited on other people's shows, is if I speak up and say, do you know what? There's no political savior. There's no political party. There's no voting out of this shit show. This is all a system of control that they've engineered. No, this is what you cannot talk about. And I am going to talk about it. And as usual, it'll get me into trouble. But yeah, Trouble is my middle name.
I love that Trouble is his middle name, and it's my middle name too. That is Doc Malik, and he's going to be joining us again in the Joy Virtual Studio, hopefully next week, maybe the week after. But I share his sentiment completely. Like, that is the biggest elephant in the room. That is like that shall not be mentioned, right? The entire apparatus of right-wing news media is built on the illusion of a choice between Democrats and Republicans, that somehow Donald Trump is different than Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. Donald Trump. I mean, this is the biggest and baddest and best con I have ever seen in my life. That this guy, 10 years in, Donald Trump, a socialistic, liberal Democrat, convinced millions of Americans that he is actually a conservative Republican, or in some way different than the apparatus or than the Democrats in office. Like it is a sight to behold. It is breathtaking to watch. I mean, you got to give the guy credit. I mean, he plays the role. He throws the red meat out at conservatives. He bashes the libs, right? And that's all the front-facing bluster. It's the rhetoric. It sounds really great. And then behind the scenes, he's hanging out with Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and Larry Fink of BlackRock, who is his personal financial advisor. He's hanging out with the tech bros, Peter Thiel, who is the transhumanist, maybe the Antichrist. Never met a Democrat that he doesn't love, putting Susie Wiles in control of everything. Like, this guy is to the left of the left of the left. He's probably more left than Biden and Kamala Harris combined. Yet he has hoodwinked so many evangelical conservative Christians. I still marvel at it to this day. Like, it's amazing. Don the con, 100%. 10 years, and all you got was the lousy hat, right? Crazy. Hey, Zayato, welcome to the SJ live chat. One Raymond Paul is with us, loves Doc Malik as well. Proctor Surf is with us. I mean, I know. I've learned my entire life it's my civic duty to go out and pull the lever, and cast the vote, or else you're not a good citizen. Well, don't complain about anything if you're not going to go out and vote, Shannon. Well, maybe we should do other things rather than voting. Maybe we should build up parallel institutions. Maybe we should start community organizations. Maybe we should focus more on the zoning board and the town board and the village board and the school board. Yes, they're elections, but they're much harder to rig than these nationwide contests. Maybe we should become more independent. Maybe we should become less dependent on the government. There are a gazillion things that we could do, right, to further the cause of liberty and sane governance in our country outside of shuffling to an election booth every 2 to 4 years and voting a lesser of two evils. Dakota Feather is with us. Love seeing all the new faces and the new names on the live chat today. Vonnie1765, it is so great to see you. And Dakota Feather is with us. Does all this theater really matter when our food supply, small ranchers and farmers are being decimated? CHD TV covered it earlier today, as Catherine Austin Fitts and Dr. Meryl Nass are doing regularly on CHD. It's awesome. And absolutely, where are you getting your food? Where are those supply lines? Are you prepared for a dollar collapse? Are you prepared for a digital control system to snap into place? That is linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. Actually, speaking of Catherine Austin Fitts, and we're going to do this a little later in this program, an overview of the fast approaching digital control grid. She put together a comprehensive report and a checklist of how bad the Trump administration is on this. They have erected this control grid much faster than Biden could ever have even imagined. And this is why I would say to you, if you are actually going to choose a lesser of the two evils, it might have been smarter to choose Kamala Harris in the last election, because then at least we would have a motivated, activated, and alert constitutional base of conservatives and Republicans and constitutionalists that were the watchers on the wall and not letting this stuff roll out. But because all of them have been lulled to sleep by the Pied Piper, Don the Con, they think that they're safe. In fact, they don't even care if it's fascism as long as it's Donald's fascism, right? They'll let him erect anything because, we're at war. It's civil war. We can't share a country with these people. The Dems are so bad, right? And this is what all of the Con Inc. influencers are shoving down the throats of their viewers and their listeners on a regular basis, justifying full-scale totalitarianism and fascism. So we're going to go through some of this a little bit later. I've linked it in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. So Dakota Feather, I appreciate you. Yanasa TV has been covering what's happening to our food supply and small farmers and ranchers. AI tech and the new AI data mining facilities that are being planned are going to destroy many of them. Dakota, thank you so much. And she has linked them up on YouTube. I love news sources. I love finding independent news sources outside of the two party or the DR media. I love independence. Honor Seeker, our Honor Seeker is with us. It is a, yeah, I agree. LT Oracle of Truth. Susie Wiles is an evil witch. Why are they choosing all the horrible politicians from Florida? Rubio, Blondie, Fine, Walsh. I don't disagree. And remember though, Susie Wiles works at the pleasure of the President of the United States of America. We need to pull her out because she is a great tactician. She's getting a lot done for this president. He can remove himself from all of the inner workings of the Oval Office and his governance because Susie Wiles is doing all the dirty business, right? So we do need to expose her and we need to oust her big time. But let's not mistake. I mean, this is not, poor baby Donald Trump is being tricked by his chief of staff. No, he puts her there on purpose. That is absolutely a strategy so he can keep his hands clean. Doesn't have to get his hands dirty, right? And there's always someone to blame, right? And this is the other reason that this whole Israel is controlling everything and Netanyahu is controlling Donald Trump and everything bad that Trump is doing is because of the spell that has been cast on Trump by Netanyahu. I mean, I think it's a very convenient scapegoat. Once again, Donald Trump never, ever, ever taking responsibility for anything that his administration ever does. And Con Inc. lets him get away with it all day long, every day. Steve Bannon included, who, by the way, is irritating me more and more. Irritating me more and more. I don't know what, speaking of feds or intelligence or the CIA, I don't know what Steve Bannon's angles are, but man, he sows a lot of chaos. Seeds of chaos. And he's all over the place. Yeah, Mr. Worthless Eater, I see you. Wiles runs interference for AIPAC. Well, a lot of nasty characters in Washington, D.C. We are in a real pickle, guys. Future Ez is with us on the live chat as well. All right, so why don't we go to break? That was a really long intro. Why don't we head to break? When we come back, we are going to we're going to do this ICE brutality video because, I don't know that anyone else in conservative media will do it. And interestingly enough, mainstream left-wing media isn't really doing a whole lot of this either. It's once again, because they work together, the left and the right. As long as government is growing, as long as our rights and liberties are shrinking and our Constitution is shredded and they have their corruption in place, then they will work together. And so they love bigger government. They love more corruption. And that's how the money train, keeps chugging along. So let's go to break. Quick commercial break. Remember the sponsors here at the Shannon Joy Show. It's how we keep the lights on every day. And when we come back, we're going to look at this horrifying video, really, really horrifying video of ICE and what's really going on in Illinois. They're saying it's to, battle crime and illegal immigration, but they're going after U.S. citizens. Not okay. We'll be back in a moment right here on the Shannon Joy Show. First, let's talk about Vive Biotics. If you guys are like me, you have dealt with bloating, low energy, or just feeling off in the gut. And as you know, I've been focusing on my gut over the past 3 months, and I can't believe the difference that it makes for me. When you get to that good 85% to 15% good to bad bacteria, you feel so much better. And the first thing that you will notice is a flatter stomach, less bloating, and loads of energy. So I know I'm not alone. And the key here is that your gut is the master switch for so many things: your digestion, immunity, and even your mood. So here's the crazy part. Most of us have way too much bad bacteria and not enough good bacteria in our gut. And this is thanks to all sorts of toxins, right? In the atmosphere, land, food, water, you name it, processed foods, stress from the news cycle and the news of the day, and even things like tap water. So this imbalance can mess with your digestion and make you feel sluggish. It can cause skin flare-ups and even impact your focus. And so this is why I'm such a huge fan of Vive Biotics. So right now you can try Vive Biotics by going to their website. It is www.perfectorigins.com/SJS-VB. That is www.perfectorigins.com/SJS-VB. You'll get 25% off your order when you use that promo code JOY at the checkout counter. So I'm a huge fan of Vive Biotics. I'm using it now. My gut has never felt better. Immune system is working, the bloating is gone, and you guys are going to love it too.
Get ready to rethink how you build and deploy your retirement wealth.
Traditional investing is dead.
Aggregated total of monies in retirement funds in the U.S. are pushing $35 trillion right now.
The capital's there, and it's invested in just basic stocks, bonds, mutual funds. And
I think that the investor of today just needs to expand what they can do with that money.
So with Rocketdollar, you can make private and alternative investments, single-family property, homes, limited partnership investments in private equity and venture funds. It could be even cryptocurrencies or digital assets and everything in between. Holding real estate next to your public stocks, and I always joke around that it's no longer the S&P 500, it's the S&P 7. And dollar for dollar, if you own these inside of IRAs,
you typically end up getting 20 to 40% better annual returns than owning the same investment outside of that IRA account, because you don't have to pay taxes on an ongoing basis.
I have parents who have no retirement savings because they work in the restaurant industry. I love that I figured out a way to be impactful to Main Street, normal working individuals. You know, people that it would have changed the course of my parents' lives had they met someone like that.
This is Jennifer with darkbags.com. I wanted to show you our latest product. This is our laptop sleeve that has a over-the-shoulder carrying strap, as well as these two straps on the side, so you can kind of hold it like a briefcase. What's special about this is that there's actually a Faraday bag built in to this backpack that fits up to a 17-inch laptop. So here's my laptop. I'm going to put it in. Once you put your laptop into this sleeve, your company can no longer track you, because they do track you after you log off of work and you put your computer to the side. They're still tracking you wherever you go. Another thing that's awesome about the Faraday pouch that's in this bag is that it blocks excessive EMF radiation that's being emitted to you, so that those harmful pulses will not reach you. And also, in case there's an EMP, this protects your electronics from the EMP. So not only does it fit your laptop, you can put your phone, you can put your wallet in here as well, and it will be protected. There is cushioning on the sides, so it'll keep all of your electronic accessories safe in here. This will be available on darkbags.com.
Is go to sat123.com/joy. That is sat123.com/joy, and use the promo code JOY Ziada. You will get an extra 10% off your entire order, and the bags are amazing. In fact, Ziada, you know what? Shoot me an email. The Shannon Joy Show at gmail.com, the Shannon Joy Show at gmail.com. And I might have a bag for you to send you. I have some extras. The Faraday bags are amazing. The technology is amazing. It erases you from the grid. So I love anything that is going to enhance privacy, in addition to protecting you from your devices, your phones, your laptops. They're emitting the harmful EMF radiation. You also protect your privacy, because once you pop your laptop, your cell phone, your computer into the dark bag, they can't trace you. So it's a double whammy. They have all different sizes, every shape and size imaginable. They even have a bulletproof ballistic backpack with the Faraday technology and multiple pockets. That is the backpack that I sent my son, Jack, to college with. So if the what hits the fan in college town, he has his bulletproof ballistic backpack ready to go. I don't mess around. We love the folks over at sat123.com/joy. That was Jennifer. She is such a doll, absolutely beautiful. And they have a million great products, everything that you need for when the lights go out. And if you use that promo code JOI, you are always going to get 10% off. So Zayetta, make sure you shoot me an email, theshannonjoyshow@gmail.com, and I'm going to send you a bag because you're one of my favorite chatters on the live chat. And I actually have a lot of goodies that I can send you guys. If you shoot me emails or like sign up for premium or whatever, sign up for the email blast. I have some coffee mugs. I have t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts. I have a lot of supplements. So maybe we'll do giveaways. That would be super fun. But if I'm going to do giveaways, I have to make you guys do something you don't want to do in order to get the giveaway. So we'll see what we can find. Zayetta, thank you so much. All right. So let's get to, let's take a look at this footage. Non-hyphenated, one of my favorite, non-hyphenated listens to my podcast when he works out every day. And he also hosts The Morning Diner, which is one of my very favorite Twitter spaces. It is independent. They have Democrats and Republicans, but they're all very sane, like love, freedom, liberty, the Bill of Rights, pretty positive about our Constitution, even though our politicians are shredding it and not operating within the boundaries of the Constitution. They still think it's a good document. They love free markets. And it's just this great discourse that is critical of both sides of the political aisle. And they don't Trump hump, which drives me crazy. Again, nails on chalkboard for me with the Trump humping, drives me nuts. And so non-hyphenated hosts that. It's The Morning Diner. And usually it's at like 9 till 11 or 9 till noon. And what was my point about non-hyphenated? Oh, right. He was the one that posted this video. And I agree with him. He, very disturbing ICE video. And, he captioned it. Of course, we want legal immigration in this country. We do need to deport illegal immigrants. That has to happen. The border does need to be closed. But what they are doing, and we'll have a conversation with Daniel Horowitz on whether the Trump administration is really doing anything of value in terms of real deportations and real discernible policy outcome. They're making a show of all this. They love to march masked agents down the street and terrify U.S. citizens in their neighborhoods all over Chicago and, Chicago proper, all the suburbs outside, right? So they love the tanks down the street and the show of force and the normalization of military occupation in the interior of the United States of America outside of the boundaries of the Constitution. They love that. They'll do that all day long. But are they really, really achieving anything in terms of actual deportations and shutting down that border? We'll have a conversation about that. LT Oracle of Truth, I see you. Shannon, I would love a t-shirt or hoodie. All right, we're going to make this happen. So anyway, non-hyphenated posted this video out, and it's pretty disturbing. So I'm going to roll it, and you guys tell me what you think. And I'm going to give you the backstory and the context to this, because a lot of the Trump humpers on the right, you're being too sensitive. You don't know like what really went down. These were U.S. citizens. These were not illegal immigrants. They were U.S. citizens that got of an operation rolled out by ICE, which, by the way, with the masks drives me crazy. They don't have to identify themselves. They don't have to identify their faces. They are masked marauders parading down city streets and terrorizing children and U.S. citizens. And it's just absolutely wrong. It's horrifying. But let's roll the tape. And if you have children in the room, I think that there's some cursing. There is definitely they dropped some F-bombs. So just to prepare you, if you want to send the kiddos out of the room. Let's roll this tape.
Put the gun away! We gonna shoot people? You piece of shit! Get the fuck out of here! You piece of shit! Leave her alone! Let her go! Let her go! Let her go! Let her go! Get the fuck out of here! Let her go! Let her go! Get the fuck out of here! You pull the gun on people? Fuck you, you piece of shit! You fucking piece of shit! You fucking piece of shit! Leave her alone! You're a piece of shit! Fuck you! Get the fuck out of here! Pulling a gun on citizens? Fuck you! You violent piece of shit! Get the fuck out of here! Get out of here! Get out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
We're good. We can end it. All right. So that was in Evanston, Illinois on Halloween. And I agree that we need to address illegal immigration, and illegal immigrants who are here should be deported. Actually, most of them, 99% of them, will deport themselves if they are cut off from the monetary benefits that are provided by our government. And so really, yeah, ICE is costing taxpayers an absolute fortune. I mean, that's outrageous. First of all, there are a couple things there that are important. That's, in my opinion, absolutely outrageous. There is a constitutional way for us to deal with illegal immigration, and it does not have to involve pointing guns in the faces of U.S. citizens while you are masked, right? So you notice that many of those agents, it was a combination of ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and CPB, which is Customs and Border Protection, okay? And they're all over Chicago. They're now into the suburbs. There was more footage of, they were pummeling that man on the street. And he was a U.S. citizen. He was not an illegal alien. The context of this video is just so you guys understand, this is what happens when, and again, they are incentivizing with monetary benefits. Look at this, Mr. Worthless Eater. New ICE agents are getting a $50,000 bonus and a $60,000 student debt compensation, which means that Trump is settling for anyone who will just follow orders like a dog. So yeah, I mean, they are highly incentivizing anyone willing to go and terrorize their fellow U.S. citizens. Here is the backstory. This happened on Halloween, and it was after there was an ICE and border CPB raid. It happened on the intersection of Oakton and Asbury, and they were engaging federal agents from ICE and CBP were conducting immigration raids across the suburbs of Evanston. This is north of Chicago. And one of the operations led to a collision where a red sedan, which you guys saw in the image there, carrying 3 U.S. citizens, not illegal immigrants, rear-ended an unmarked federal vehicle. Again, unmarked cars, masking, no identification, no badging. I mean, this is like Trump's Gestapo. This is not okay. There are legalities here. There are protections. Even immigrants, by the way, illegal immigrants do have human rights protections. Okay, so this idea, this normalization among conservatives and in conservative circles of like, we can do anything. What are we going to round them up and put them in concentration camps? And they have no rights whatsoever. ICE agents can go in and do whatever they want to illegal immigrants and their children. They can pummel them. They can detain them without any legal protections at all. Like that, there are human rights violations that could be happening here. So like, you've got to do, and the thing is, if you don't do this in an orderly fashion, then the backlash, and this is the concern about those of us, myself included, who believe that we should be clearing out illegal immigration or illegal immigrants, that we need to be engaging in deportations and we need to close the border. And, for those of us who think that needs to happen, this is going to turn people so far against these actions that nothing will happen, right? It's going to have the opposite impact because these are it's so horrifying to watch. So they rear-ended the federal vehicle after the agents abruptly braked. According to witnesses and city officials, the car's occupants exited to check on the agents' well-being. This is what they said. Were they tailgating the ICE car, the unmarked vehicle? Probably. Were they instigating? I don't know, but we don't really know what happened. But they were quickly detained for interfering with the operation. The agents arrested 3 U.S. citizens, 2 men and 1 woman, on the charges, including assault on a federal officer and obstruction. But videos from the bystanders, the ones that you just saw, show the agents drawing weapons, pointing guns at unarmed civilians who were videotaping and advocating on behalf of the U.S. citizens that were being just manhandled. They pinned individuals to the ground, and they used repeated strikes and punches to the head while a man's face was pressed against the pavement. I don't know, TJ, if you have any further footage. That was really, this guy was not fighting back. And, they had to put a nearby middle school on lockdown due to reports of the agent's presence and all of the commotion. And so, yeah, now they're going to be civil rights. And the online backlash has been terrible, right? So, this is Matthew Busa music, Clear Out the Invaders. Yeah, but you've got to do it in a way. There is a sane and constitutional way to incentivize illegal immigrants to self-deport. And as I just mentioned, the vast majority of them would self-deport once they stop getting free education, free food, free healthcare, and all of the benefits that we are currently providing for illegal immigrations in the U.S. So you do not deport like that. It's just, strident conservative. Yes, they are the jackboots, brown shirts. I think brown shirts is the term, Shannon, says Mark the Regan. And, for me, the weird thing is I'm really concerned. To me, I think that the play here is the normalization of military police, military and police personnel in the interior of the country. And they're going to use any excuse, whether it's crime, illegal immigration, you name it. My point here is that they do not need to do this. What happened here, they did not need to do. But they want you to see that. And they are slowly eroding our fundamental constitutional rights. So, yeah. All right. We'd love to hear from you. What do you guys think about the video that we just saw? Great piece from Strident Conservative, by the way. David Leach, thank you for all of your hard work. We have linked you. Trump and the Republicans are quietly pushing FISA reauthorization amidst the shutdown. While, he also mentions the expansion of the military police state under this administration. Very concerning. Very, very concerning. If Joe Biden deployed the military to the interior of the U.S., into Texas and Florida, and started arresting people, slamming them on the ground, stuffing them in cars for not being vaccinated or other infractions, that Republicans would be screaming about the Constitution. And again, let's remind everyone here that those were U.S. citizens. They were not illegal immigrants. So we have the masked marauders, Donald Trump's brown shirts, the Gestapo, deployed into the suburbs of Chicago to go after U.S. citizens and beat the crap out of them. I don't know how any conservative or constitutionalist can agree with that. Okay, so let's go to a quick break. We have one more break, and then when we come back, we are going to look at Catherine Austin Fitz's piece. Again, Trump, worse than Kamala. Trump, worse than Biden. Okay, bigger Democrat, bigger totalitarian. And the worst part of this administration is that he is expanding at a rapid pace the surveillance state, the digital surveillance state. By the way, Bitcoin, before I started the show today, Bitcoin was crashing, taking a nosedive and opening up the opportunity for shorts, which should be really interesting. We're going to be looking at that tomorrow. But the digital, luckily for all of us, as they're trying to erect this, digital surveillance state, more and more Americans are seeing that AI and big tech, a lot of it is a bubble. It's falling apart. And this idea that they're going to be able to implement the massive digital processing centers across the country and move us all into the surveillance state with the, central banking digital currency or private banking digital currency, along with the tokenization of everything, which, by the way, Larry Fink is pushing hard, and also the digital ID, which, by the way, Trump is pushing hard through Department of Homeland Security, Barbie, Kristi Noem. She's all over the airport trying to push you all into the digital ID. They're trying, okay? And they've done more than the Biden administration or Obama administration could ever dream of in just the past 8 months. And Catherine Austin Fitz systematically lays it out point by point, all of the ways that Trump has absolutely betrayed his base on this, ushering in the techno-fascists and a new type of techno-feudalism. We're going to look at that piece because they're going to try it. They're doing everything they can to accelerate this. Luckily, it's like, these battles are won on the margins, but luckily it seems, and I think that's one of the reasons we're beginning to see Bitcoin wobble. I have a lot of things to say about Bitcoin, which maybe we'll do that tomorrow. But it's not just Bitcoin that is wobbling. It's trust in these digital fiat currencies, which is what Bitcoin will become, right? The only way for Bitcoin to push past the valuation that it currently holds into the stratosphere is if Bitcoin partners with the federal government and those who have devalued our fiat currency to begin with, right? So they don't like the dollar anymore because they cheated us so badly. And and devalued our dollar to such an extent that, well, they just want to move on to the next fiat, which necessarily they think is going to be digital. That's the only way for Bitcoin to go anywhere. And as more and more Americans, and then this is why we saw the gold rally about a week ago, like institutional investors, regular Americans, regular people are getting less and less comfortable with the robotization of everything, digital surveillance, mass data centers, digital currencies, digital IDs, you name it. And so as we push back, the market and the culture pushes back, they're going to try to move us and accelerate us into the digital prison. This overview from Catherine Austin Fitts, absolutely critical. And this is one of those pieces that you're going to want to download, you're going to want to print out, you're going to want to read, and you're going to want to share it with everyone you know, because she annihilates Trump, right? Like he's the guy, he's the one doing this through his administration and the tech bros. And that is who we should be scrutinizing. The buck stops with the big guy. And it is way past the time where we need to actually scrutinize this president. No more excuses, okay? No more excuses for Donald Trump. He's the guy, and he's the one pushing this. We're going to investigate that when we come back right here on the Shannon Joy Show. I just want to tell you a little bit about my financial advisor. He's been with me for over 15 years, Don Polano of PCM and Associates. As you all know, my philosophy on investing is all of the above. So you know I'm hugely bullish on gold and silver, physical gold and silver, and also the gold and silver IRA. I also love real estate, which I can't get into right now because it's too overpriced. So that's kind of a bummer. But I also have money in the stock market, the good old traditional stock market. Now, right now, I am not in tech stocks at all whatsoever. I have very, very boring stocks and some international. And this is what I love about Don Polano is that he knows, he respects my belief system. He shares my belief system. And for what I do have in the stock market, in those investments for my retirement, he takes great care of me. He helps people all over the country and the world. And he is taking on clients, opening it up to all of you. So if you go to 1-800, if you call 1-800-536-1368, that is 1-800-536-1368. You can talk to Dom and get started. If you are unsure of the politics of your financial advisor, or if you're a little jittery about the stock market right now and you want to move some things around, he is your guy. You can also go to pcmpolano.com to learn more about him. That is pcmpolano.com. It is wonderful to have a financial analyst and advisor who shares my values, and that's Don Polano. They are new sponsors of the Shannon Joy Show. You guys are going to meet Henry Yoshida. We're going to do a full hour on the economic pain, inflation, and what regular Americans can do to protect themselves as we move towards recession, potentially depression, and conceivably even a currency collapse. You need to protect yourself. You need to protect your family. And one of the ways that you can do that is through a self-directed IRA. Go to rocketdollar.com/Shannon Joy today. There's a free guide that you can sign up for where you can learn all about how to take control of your investments and your retirement. You can do that through Rocket Dollar. It is rocketdollar.com/Shannon Joy. That is rocketdollar.com/Shannon Joy to learn about how you can invest in real estate using your own hard-earned retirement savings. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. And as you know, it's very difficult to purge the parasites in Washington, D.C., though we try to do that every day here on the SJ Show. It's not that difficult, however, to purge the parasites in your body. And let me tell you, if you have animals, if you have dogs or cats and they've been in your home for many, many years, there's a really good chance that your body could be infested with parasites, tiny, tiny little buggers that are invading your body. They're tiny, they're vicious, and they could be silently draining your health. More and more people are talking about parasites, and I have begun with Purge, a 15-day parasite cleanse. I am now on day 8, and I'm wondering how many of you are going to join me on this cleansing ritual. Purge is a great product. If you guys don't know, parasites can contribute to so many maladies, a range of gastrointestinal and systemic and neurological effects, including abdominal pain, malnutrition, anemia. They can even change your mood and your behavior. You could have a bloated feeling. There are so many symptoms: digestive issues, skin rashes, fatigue. Think about all the times that you've gone to the doctor and, for an illness, they've come back, said it's maybe a virus or a bacteria. They never really talked to you about parasites. Well, parasites could be the culprit, and this is why a gentle but effective cleanse multiple times a year is always necessary. So Purge is an amazing product. It has 17 natural ingredients, including wormwood extract. It's designed to eliminate parasites, protect intestinal health, and stimulate immune cell production. It also helps to safeguard vital organs. To effectively eliminate these parasites and prevent their multiplication, they use black walnut hull. It's a potent and bitter anti-parasitic ingredient. It's absolutely crucial as it pushes the parasites out for safe elimination, ensuring that you are parasite-free without any noticeable effects. So it's gentle and it really does the job. I'm feeling better already. You can manage your gut and make it unlivable for parasites with the Purge cleanse. And right now, they are giving this audience 25% off. So it's a huge discount. If you go to purgestore.com/joy, that is purgestore.com/joy, you can join me in cleaning out your system. 15% off your order. Sorry, it's promo code JOY for 15% off your entire order. So that's www.purgestore.com/joy. All right, let's get back to the final segment of the Shannon Joy Show. Ranger 1791. Again, I'm admittedly not 100% up to all the ICE stuff. I'd only say that violence was inevitable. Those who are here illegally and their sympathizers want to create chaos. I don't know if they do want to create chaos. I think that there is more benefit to the federal government and the executive office. I think that their goal is not safety and security. I think their goal is establishing and normalizing a military police state, because they don't really care about the illegal immigrants. They want to control all of us. And so the way to do that is to create chaos and to normalize these type of actions. And again, Ranger 1791, the pummeling, the pointing of the gun in the faces, they were abusing U.S. citizens, not illegals, in the video that we played. This is a real danger, and we have to be consistent. We wouldn't like this if it was happening in the Obama administration or the Biden administration, and so we do have to be consistent. Again, I will say this until I'm blue in the face. There are a million very legal, very boring, very easy ways to deport illegal immigrants. This is something altogether different. And again, I think it's, theater, and it is designed to normalize. They don't care about the immigrants. If they cared about illegal immigrants and crime, they would have solved this 25 years ago. They care about controlling all of us. And at the end of the day, I think we still might have just as many immigrants here. All right, let's go to this piece. This is very important. And we'll cover some of this tomorrow, and we'll do another technocracy show next week. Catherine Austin Fitz, I'm working on getting her in on the show again. I'm also working on some other special guests as well. But she pushed this out on Solari. You can follow her on Twitter. Her handle is @Solari_. And this was the overview, the fast approaching digital control grid, a checklist of Trump administration actions to date. Okay. So sometimes you will hear people like Steve Bannon whining and complaining about the tech bros and the technocrats and the techno-fascists and the surveillance state and digital ID. But Steve Bannon also consistently Trump humps. So you can't have it both ways, right? People like Steve Bannon will try to distract you away, right? So they're going to talk about the thing that you care about because they have to, but they are never going to apply their scrutiny to the guy who is doing it. And that's the big problem. So even if you hear Glenn Beck hosting Whitney Webb as she is educating him on the emerging techno-fascist police state, right? Glenn Beck is so worried about it, the singularity, right? He's going to get out his chalkboard and scare all of you. But on the other side of his mouth, he's praising Donald Trump. Well, he's the best, he's been the best president in dealing with this and addressing this, which is an absolute farce, right? This is all Trump. And it is time for conservative media to actually scrutinize this. This article, it is a killer. All right. So what she did, she put together, first she defined what the digital control grid is. And it's an electronic network of digital telecommunication and information systems that allows individuals, you and me, U.S. citizens who are protected by our Constitution by a Fourth Amendment, which guarantees us the right to privacy, period. End of sentence. But this system will allow individuals to be surveilled, tracked, and made subject to invasive controls applied to their financial transactions and resource use, such as electricity, food, water, transportation, education, benefits, Social Security, healthcare, you name it. This will compromise, if not end, and this is what Catherine writes, all human and natural rights, all natural liberties, the ones laid out in our Constitution and also our God-given, inalienable natural rights. Done. Control grids operate with significant data collection and AI to apply social credit systems that can be dictated on a highly centralized basis. A digital control grid ends financial freedom. It's over. Okay? You think they were bad with the fiat dollar that they actually had to print, which they've moved away from in the past 20 years. If you think they were bad with the fiat dollar, which is uncontrollable for them, because at this point, they still can't go in. If I give $1 to the Amish farm market or the Amish farmer, they can't track and trace that. Okay? So what they would like to now do is take all of that control and use it in a centralized system, meaning that they control everything. They watch everything. They surveil everything, and they can take things away from you. If you have the wrong opinions, if you criticize the government, if you are a dissident, if you are against the ICE actions and what is happening with the militarization of our police and the deployment of the military into the interior of the country, if you are like me and you oppose that, you're a dissident and you're tracked and you're scored, they can shut down your bank account, they can turn off your credit cards, you name it. And you're right, CJP Rumble, Fink is out there talking about the tokenization of everything. So tokenizing all assets, which means that they're going to take everything. They're going to apply tokens and say, I have a token for water, I have a token for the ocean, for the river, for the mountain, for the tree, for each human, right? They will seek to enslave humans. They will tokenize our bodies. Mark my words. Right? Because your liver is of value. Did you know that organ trafficking, it's a big billion-dollar business, especially for these crazy transhumanists. So the Peter Thiels of the world who would like to merge machine and humans, they need to conduct human experimentation in order to become the God kings, the God machines that they think that they can become. People like Peter Thiel. So they're going to have to open up massive amounts of human experimentation, which they will conduct on you, okay, without your consent. And they also have to open up this idea of swapping out organs training, organs as a commodity. We've seen this in the abortion clinics. We've seen this at the NIH. In fact, Donald Trump has opened up the harvesting of fetal organs for research using NIH funding. Jay Bhattacharya, that is you. And I've already called Jay Bhattacharya out on this. The NIH is currently using aborted babies and their body parts, fetal organs, to conduct research, which is disgusting, right? But they want it, all of that needs to be expanded. I digress. Anyway, these people are crazy. There's a reason I call them, malignant, narcissistic sociopaths with God complexes. All right, Bill Gates on steroids. And those are the people surrounding Donald Trump. And those are the people that Donald Trump is beholden to. They got him elected. It was Peter Thiel and all that money from Palantir that got Donald Trump elected. He works for them. The global billionaires, the oligarchs, and the techno-fascists. Make no mistake. But he is doing all of this. He's ushering it all in. And so this system is run by rules. It's created and maintained centrally by experts and technocrats. So no more elections, no more democracy, no more consent of the governed, none of it. It's done. The experts rule everything. In fact, Peter Thiel has talked about that in great detail. They don't want democracy anymore. They want a monarchical system, a sort of techno-feudalism, as Whitney Webb has described. Future as Shannon, do you believe in adrenochrome? I've seen a bunch of stuff out there, and I have not seen enough evidence to make me satisfied and to include it on a show. I just haven't seen enough evidence for that. I know it's a deep conspiracy theory. I know a lot of people believe in it, and I haven't seen enough evidence for that. However, nothing would surprise me. Nothing would surprise me. So she asked the question, is the Trump administration building this digital control grid? The answer is yes, and they are doing it at a very rapid pace. She provides in this report the following checklist to assess the steps of this administration and what they are doing in a variety of areas to facilitate a rapid control grid build out. And she goes out and she goes on, and this is, this is linked, it's hyperlinked, and she looks at all of these elements. She identifies the big picture. She focuses on money, the digital currencies, the grid's backbone, the war on cash and checks, detailed moves by this administration to make it much harder for you to use cash and or checks. They're trying to eliminate physical money, forcing reliance on trackable digital systems. They have made moves in terms of financial disclosures, highlighting opacity, an uninvestigated $21 trillion missing from the Department of Defense and HUD, and also now black budgets that enable hidden funding. So this shutdown, they're now moving money through the executive branch outside of Congress and the scrutiny and the transparency of a duly elected Congress to pay the troops and to pay for other things. In fact, I believe they are moving to make SNAP payments as well. She talks about the digital IDs and biometric surveillance. They have expanded the Trump administration through the Genius Act and other provisions in the big, beautiful bill, expansions in facial recognition, real ID enforcement, and AI-driven immigration tools as steps towards universal tracking, including election integrity ties. So all of the attacks that they are deploying against the immigrants, buckle up, Buttercup, because they're going to come for you as well. This is going to bleed out into civilians and U.S. citizens. And that is why we've seen now ICE pummeling U.S. citizens, right? They're deploying, and the most recent abhorrent actions were aimed not at immigrants or illegal immigrants, but US citizens. So you need to imagine everything that Trump is doing, everything that he is building, every outrage, expand that. Imagine a new Democrat in office, because the pushback to Trump is going to be so swift and so prevalent that, imagine a Democrat like, Kamala or Obama or Biden coming in and taking this apparatus that Donald Trump created and then wielding it against you. And I don't care what JD Vance had to say, because someone asked JD Vance about that at his last forum, TPUSA, and at Ole Miss. And he's like, I'm really sick of that excuse, right? He's like, the Democrats are going to do it anyway. So we need to do everything outside of the Constitution, anything that we need to do right now with Trump, because, well, if Democrats come in office, they're going to do it anyway. It doesn't matter if Trump erects this. It does matter. If Trump puts all of the mechanisms in place and all of the agencies and all of the organizations, then the entire machine is built for someone to come in and then wield it against constitutionalists, veterans, Christians, homeschoolers, people who aren't vaccinated, you name it. Like, why can't people wake up to this? Oh my gosh. Yeah. But JD Vance is all good. You can do whatever you want. Open up the concentration camps, become Nazis, become fascists, do it so that we can own the liberals. Come on, guys. Come on. Data, payments, and AI. Catherine Austin Fitts lays out how they are centralizing data via Palantir and master databases, massive, massive contracts to Peter Thiel's Palantir, AI deregulation, and also immunity. So a provision in the big, beautiful bill it prohibits municipalities, local governments, and state governments from impeding in or stopping any expansion of AI development across the country. And that was another feature in the big, beautiful bill that you all knew about if you were watching the Shannon Joy Show, because I tell you the truth, unlike my colleagues in conservative media who lie to you all the time. Hello, Steve Bannon, I'm talking to you. They're such liars. They are not telling you people about this. Internet of Bodies and Telecom. The expansion of wearables. Bobby Kennedy Jr. testifying in front of Congress saying that his mission at HHS is to have every American on a wearable. That is biometric tracking. That is data collection of your heart rate, your pulse, your temperature, you name it. Now he's talking about wearables. He's framing it in like something that you're doing voluntary. I assure you it will not be voluntary. And especially if his mission is every American, why? Why not just Americans who want to wear a wearable or who want to subject their data to public scrutiny and throw it up in the cloud for everyone to see, right? There are plenty of Americans who want to do that voluntarily. Why do they need all of us? Why would Bobby Kennedy say every American? That should give you pause. Warns of the mRNA tech as control extensions, mRNA technology. Okay, this is gene altering technology injected into your body. And there isn't an mRNA out there that Donald Trump doesn't love. So they're expanding that as well. Sam Bucas X, Thiel is sus. Definitely suspicious. I agree with you, Sam Bucas X. I mean, how do you all feel about this? Resterly, did this act she is reading pass? Resterly, this is an overview. What I am reading from is a very detailed and hyperlinked report that has been put out by Catherine Austin Fitts in the Solari report. And it is not just one bill or act or piece of legislation. It is a combination of spending legislation, the big, beautiful bill, plus presidential memorandums, plus presidential executive orders, plus presidential emergency declarations and other initiatives that have all together built this grid over the past 8 months. And she has each one laid out in horrifying detail. Every one of them tracing back to President Trump. In terms of money, she overviews the Genius Act and also the installation of the White House AI and crypto czar, along with the $21 trillion in missing money, an executive order on 401ks, which is allowing private equity to access and allowing private equity and digital assets be included in 401ks. And all of these, I mean, the FASB Statement 56, the Doge layoffs, Real ID promotion, aggressive enforcement with biometrics implied, Palantir contracts, the SAVE Act, the App Store Act, which was passed in September and October of 2025, Stargate LLC, which is the building of massive data centers with U.S. taxpayers footing the bill and massive subsidies for billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg. Remember his Manhattan-sized data processing centers that he would like to put in your backyard. The deregulation executive order that is banning state regulations, Palantir master databases, the Drill Baby Drill executive order. It boosts resource extraction for grid power. This is to power expansion of nuclear to power the massive data centers, along with obviously oil exploration, the border military deployment, the 800 troops to DC, the surveillance tech, and that is the militarization and globalization. So facial recognition technology, geofencing, all of it. This president, we didn't see Biden do anything like this, and because we were watching. Believe me, I have been reporting on the techno-fascists and technocracy for the past 3-4 years. Dino Fun, could we have a link to all of this, please? Yes, as I have mentioned multiple times, there is a link in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. Go to the description right now and scroll down. You will find linked entitled The Fast Approaching Digital Control Grid. It is at solari.com, and that is linked. Yeah, if someone wants to pop that right up into the live chat and into the comment section, that would help me out. Mr. Worthless Eater, the 21 trillion leads back to 9/11. Rumsfeld, and yeah, I mean, the expansion of FISA, the NSA, the military, medical industrial complex. I mean, Solari has like doubled their net value in just 8 months. Catherine concludes that these actions put in place by this president, once again, legislation that he has signed, budgets and spending legislation that he has signed, executive orders, emergency declarations, and executive memorandums, among other initiatives that are outside of even the functioning of the U.S. government. Again, the fact that we are right now, the government is quote unquote shut down, meaning Congress is not meeting. They are not in session. They are offering no oversight. This president is doing things outside of the constitutional boundaries of the executive office, and he's using the shutdown as an excuse to do it. Okay. So he pulled in a private donor to hand him $140 million to pay some of the troops, right? So they're funneling money. These are black budgets, dark budgets, and you have money coming in from private billionaires and benefactors. This is a banana republic. This is a criminal cartel. This is the mafia. This is not the United States government, and Biden never did this. As many bad things as Biden did, and he did a lot of bad things, okay? Obama, lots of bad things. Clinton, so many bad things, okay? This president somehow, because conservative media has their head so far up their own asses and so far up Trump's ass that they can't get it right for their audiences. This is all happening under the watch of a Republican conservative. Insane. Okay? So it's not a lesser of two evil. Actually, in my opinion, Trump is more evil. More evil than the Democrats, more evil than Biden, and yes, more evil than Kamala. And I'll take that to the bank, because when you guys realize what he is building and where this is going, I'm going to be proven right on this. My analysis is the best analysis, I'm telling you, because I'm not beholden. Yeah, they're all building up upon each other's bad things. Dino Fun, 100%. 100%. So this is the difficulty right now. And unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have to probably partner up with some Democrats in order to get some of this stuff stopped. But we can still fight this, okay? We do not have to lend our consent to this bullshit. We just don't, all right? And CJP Rumble, we were already proven right. Yeah, we're being proven right, tragically. I'm the only girl. Like, all the other conservative yappers out there are like, they actually have their producers go back and like scour through all of their old audio and video to find the times when they were right about things, and then they'll have them play them back for you, right? Like, everyone else in my genre is obsessed with like being right and wanting to be right. I'm the only one who wants to be wrong. Like, I so desperately want to be wrong about what I am telling you. But tragically, horrifyingly, I've been right time and time again. And I'm right about Trump. I have been right about Trump since the day he came down the golden freaking elevator, and it's tragic. I'm just a girl in the world trying to get a nut. Mark Reagan. And Future S still needs to get Shannon out of the Matrix. I don't know how I'm in the Matrix, Future S, and I don't even know what you're talking about. But I think you guys are great. Thank you all so much for being with us today on the Shannon Joy Show. We have run out of time. Clones, I love it when Shannon starts to sound like a sailor. I cursed like a trucker all through lockdowns. COVID, I never dropped so many F-bombs in my life than I did in like the first 6 months of COVID lockdowns. And, you know, yeah, CM 1968, Shay, be careful about working with Democrats. Absolutely. I understand what you're saying. Mod Trend, I will not partner up with Democrats or Republicans. Let's just go independent, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's just shed all of this. Let's rip the Band-Aid off, right? I mean, it's in front of our faces. It is a massive elephant in the room. And that is that the elephants and the donkeys are working together. And they have been for a very, very long time. So yeah. That's what we need to do. But the first step is knowledge and understanding where we are and acknowledging the truth. The truth will set us free. And so that is the very beginning. It is the beginning of the white pill, right? The black pill is the truth, but it sets you free. That's the white pill. And that's what we need to engage in. So you guys have been amazing. And I appreciate all of you. We're going to be back tomorrow to do it all again right here on the Shannon Joy Show. Dr. Mary Talley Bowden with her show On Call with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden tomorrow. Special crossover segment. Myself and Mary. Also, terrible, terrible, terrible situation in North Carolina. Medical kidnap, CPS, poor young boy being treated for cancer, and the St. Jude administration in Charlotte, North Carolina, threatening the parents with CPS because they are apparently not following to the T the exact protocol being recommended. It's outrageous. We're going to be joined by Kirsten Cosgrove, who is an advocate for them. So that's going to be a very important show. And Daniel Horowitz later this week. It's either Thursday or Friday. Haven't nailed him down yet for which day it is. But we're going to have him in. Lots to talk about with Daniel Horowitz. All right, my friends, have a wonderful afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again right here on the Shannon Joy Show.